All right, what's going on, everybody? It is Zach here, back with another video. Today is January 27th, 2025. And you know what, guys? I failed. You guys will see how here in a little bit, but suffice it to say, I failed. I think I failed twice, actually, in this very video, so you guys are going to have to witness it here with me. Sorry to say, but yeah, pretty frigid this morning. It was like 29 degrees when I went out to start warming up. And thankfully I've got a couple little space heaters I kick on about an hour before I go out, so it's not super duper cold. Because, I don't mind training when it's cold, but my hands and my toes starting to get numb is distracting when I'm lifting, so I try to warm it up a little bit before I got there. Slap on a plate, and you know what that means. It's time to talk about markers of hypertrophy stimulus. So, that means we are talking about yesterday, leg day. First leg day at 1 RIR. How are we feeling? Still pretty sore. Both quads are still pretty sore, maybe like a 4 out of 10, potentially, maybe, 4 or 5 out of 10. The upper parts of my quads are a little more sore, and that's probably because I applied that cue on those reverse Nordics, so those are a lot more difficult now. Putting on the 5 and the 2.5 there to make it our working weight here, 75 pounds. Wait, I did the same thing last week, didn't I? I did do the same thing. Okay, the working weight's 80 pounds. Sorry, guys. And I would have known, too, if I would have watched, because that was a potentiation set. So, a couple reps there just to get myself ready. And now we're getting into the working set here. So, let's see. How did we perform here on overhead press? So, my goal here on these sets was to increase the reps, right? Because my load is not very much here. I'm only pressing 80 pounds overhead. So adding weight is kind of out of the picture, because even adding 5 pounds, which I don't have another chip, it's like a nickname for the little 2.5 plates. I don't even know if people still call them that. Whenever I did powerlifting in high school, we always called those chips, but increasing, or I guess technically decreasing RIR on this movement for me, the best way to do that is to add a rep. And so that's what I tried to do here. And I kind of succeeded, but also I kind of didn't. So you guys will see here in a little bit. But this first set, I got 12, which is what we got in the last session, which technically that would not be an increase. But because I actually noted in here whenever I did that set last session, that felt like 1 RIR, so it actually makes sense that I would do the same number of reps, because then I'll be at 1 RIR. And then the second set, we did actually add a rep, so we went from 9 reps to 10 reps on the second set, so that's solid. Let's go ahead and watch real quick. Let's watch some reps here, see what we think. So getting nice and deep down on the chest into my rack position. Shoulders pushing through just fine and getting out of the way on the eccentric. That looks good. Starting to strain here. Not sure what rep I'm on. Yeah, that's getting near to failure, and I think probably, yeah, one more. Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, that's a grind. So I grinded out that 10th rep, and honestly, that was probably It's going to be a common theme today, but I'm basically like fluxing in and out of 0 RIR and 1 RIR. That's kind of what we were seeing on that last set. So final set here. This one's a little bit spicy. So I think that's 3 reps. And then, 4. And so now you guys get to see what I was talking about at the beginning of the video here. Failure. For the first time on my channel, actually. So next week is going to be really spicy, because Oh, so I think, yeah, that must have been 6 reps. No, that was 7 reps, and I'm going for the 8th here. Temporary muscular failure, ladies and gentlemen. That's a good thing. I'm happy about it. That was the last set at 80 pounds, so now we're moving on to our little drop set here, 75 pounds. Ended up getting 8 on this one, which is a pretty good showing. I'm pretty happy about that. So, yeah, I already mentioned that we're teetering between 0 and 1 RIR, which is exactly what I want. But, man, it really does take a toll. You can feel a difference whenever you start taking, like, those dudes out there doing, like, every set to failure. That's some bad mofos. I know they don't train as often, but my goodness, man, it's crazy. Once I get to the 0 RIR week, you guys will see it becomes majorly sweaty. Clickety-clacking over to dumbbell bench here. So we're in the same kind of situation as overhead press on these dumbbell bench presses here. Once we get to 1 RIR, things start really getting sweaty, and rather quickly at that. It, like, the triceps, by the last 5 or 6 reps of these sets here, triceps are just absolutely on fire. Chest and anterior delts are like thermonuclear. It's gnarly. But one of the bummers about doing, especially using these Nuobels, is you guys will see too, I'm never going to go to like absolute muscular failure when I'm using these Nuobels, because number one, I can't drop them, and number two, I don't have a spotter with me, so I don't really have anyone that can help me do forced reps. But I can get as close as possible. I could just keep pumping out reps until I'm doing like little partial reps, but then the scary thing there is I'm gonna have to like rapidly unload the weight and get it down to my legs. I just don't want to even, these dumbbells are rather expensive. I don't even want to risk shattering those bad boys, so I don't play around with it. I'll usually get to about 1 RIR, even on the 0 RIR week. I usually just get to 1 RIR and then I call it, so I'm not having to like weasel my way out of a set, you know what I mean? It's just not worth it to me. So little caveat on the dumbbell exercises, at least in this version. Certain stuff, like whenever I do these tricep extensions here in a minute, I mean, I can just, if I can't do it, you know what I mean? If I can't come out of the hole, I guess that would be a problem. But then I could just bend over at the waist, and then it would be resting on my back, so I could just, pull it off of me or whatever. I could figure it out, but I just don't want to risk dropping these bad boys, because I don't want to have to pay for them. And I don't know if Nuobel is doing replacement parts for these. I know they weren't selling like the replacement discs, and especially the first one that's like attached to it. It's like a hollow, it's like just a metal ring around it, so it's pretty fragile stuff. But yeah, dumbbell bench is feeling really good. How did we perform here? We got, so last session, so same loads here, 45 pounds for 2 sets and 40 pounds for a set. Last session I got 13 and 11, and this session we got 14 and 12. So that tracks. And then the drop set, we did 10, and today we did 11. And like I said, man, I felt it. I almost, these ones, the 1 RIR and the 0 RIR week, those are the weeks where I'm nervous before I start the lift. Like when I'm getting ready in the morning, I have my breakfast and stuff, like, even when I first wake up, I start immediately thinking about it, like, oh, God. Oh, boy, this is going to be very painful. And it is always very painful, but in a good way. And whenever you suffer like that, I feel like when you come out the other end of it, it feels really good. to do, and there's some decent science and data and research that's gone into the topic, but doing something really difficult like that and putting yourself through something painful on purpose towards a goal that's important to you. I mean, like if you combine all of those things, I can't imagine something that would, I mean, of course, there's, heroin would probably make you feel better, but as far as things that are good for you, that's one of the best feelings there is. Accomplishing something difficult or putting yourself through something difficult towards a goal, completing it, and then in this case, having the program you created play out the way that you're wanting it to play out. Dude, I mean, I couldn't ask for more. That's exactly what I'm wanting. So super happy about that. You're not going to hear me complaining about how much it sucked, because number one, I'm choosing to do this on purpose. I'm choosing to do this bodybuilding prep. And to put myself through all of these trials and tribulations, as it were. And so I own it. This is mine, and I love it, honestly. I'm really loving the grind, and especially legs push pull. There's just something about it. It's so like balls to the wall. I don't know, like getting in a leg day and then like 3 days later, boom, you're hitting leg day again. It's like just constant growth, constant stimulus. I absolutely love it. I'm loving this shit. Okay, guys. So we've cracked up here to overhead tricep extensions. Just went up in weight, so we are doing 30-pound load still. And how did we feel about these? Of course, you guys know I'm always singing the praises of overhead tricep extension. It's a great movement. I love it. You can do it with a lot of different implements. Cables, dumbbells. You might be able to do it with a barbell. It might be kind of awkward. Definitely like an easy bar. You could do it for sure with the easy bar. There's a lot of different variations. And because of that, there's a lot of ways to overload it too. So really great exercise. One of the things I did want to mention that I've been working on / playing around with is hand placement. So you'll notice here on the Nuobel, it's got that little like angled plastic bit, and it's kind of blocky there, trying to hold it. It's not flat against my hand. Like my hands are not flat like this. I have to kind of like cup them. And so I'm just trying to move my hands around a little bit, like a little further up on the dumbbell, a little back, just to see what feels the best, because sometimes I get a little crispy crunchiness in the wrists, especially, can be pretty uncomfortable. And then every now and then, especially when I unrack it, my elbow will crack a lot of the time. So just messing with the hand placement, that's something I would recommend for sure. If you guys try this exercise out, mess with the hand placement a little bit. If you do it one time, it feels great, leave it. As long as it still feels great, keep that same. There's no need to change something that feels really good. But if it feels a little awkward, if your wrists are hurting a little bit, maybe try moving to where you're like holding a little more the back part of the dumbbell, or a little bit forward so it's kind of cradled a little more. Yeah. Another thing is I bend my knees and then I lean forward a little bit to give some clearance, so that the back of those dumbbells are like, I think it's cast iron, the plates. And so that metal plate will just smack that, what is it called? The occipital prominence? I can't remember what it's called. That sounds right, but I'm not sure. Anyway, that little lump on the back of my head, if I don't lean forward, I will absolutely smack that thing. So just some little tips here and there for you guys. Everyone's a little bit different. Everyone's anatomy is different. So if you got someone telling you like, oh no, this, you gotta do the movement this way, bro. It's the only way to do it. And, such and such did it like this, and so you just gotta do it like this, man. Like, for sure, take people's advice. If someone's going to offer criticism or advice, I'm always down to hear it, but I'm not going to do something just because someone said it's the best way to do it. You know what I mean? I'm going to try it out, and if it feels good and it grooves, then hey, thanks, man. Help me out. And if it doesn't, no big deal. No problem. Just keep doing it the way you were doing it, especially if it's working for you. So that's kind of my thinking there. Ooh, another one. Yes. Another temporary muscular failure. Yeah, and that's me saying 0 RAR. F yeah. Yeah, it feels good, man. Especially you get to that. I mean, I say it feels good. It feels good watching it right now and seeing like, oh yeah, dude, I really pushed it. when I'm in it, it doesn't feel good at all. It feels very bad. I don't like it, but I kind of do like it. But shh, don't tell anyone. So, moved on over here. Dumbbell flies. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I really wanted to bail on the workout at this point. Like after, so now that's 2 sets. I've gone to momentary muscular failure. The fatigue from that. Like I don't care what anyone says. If you train to actual momentary muscular failure, you're going to have a tremendous amount of fatigue from that, and I was definitely feeling it. I mean, overhead press and a tricep extension. The overhead press is a big deal, tricep extension not as much, but for a compound movement to go to momentary muscular failure, that's a big deal, man. That's some serious stimulus. So, yeah, I wanted to bail, but I was like, you know what, let's see, did a warm-up set. But it felt pretty good. The stretch was really good on the warm-up set, so I decided to go ahead and just push on, see what we could do, and I'm glad I did, because the flies ended up feeling pretty good. But yeah, they definitely, dumbbell flies have a certain pucker factor to them, man, that you just don't get on certain other exercises. Like it reminds me of the reverse Nordics. Because there are times when I'm doing those reverse Nordic curls where it feels like I'm like, my shit might just snap off. My my quads might just stretch till they snap like a rubber band, and they haven't snapped yet, so that's good. How about performance on these bad boys? Same load, 20 pounds per hand, and last session we got 13 and 11. And here we got 14 and 12, so that tracks perfectly. That's just what we're looking for. So happy with this push session. It was a fun one, although pretty freaking intense, but I mean, that's kind of what we're here for. So let's see. As far as fatigue, I'm feeling pretty fatigued right now. Oh my gosh, and actually, yeah, chest and triceps and everything is already sore. Triceps are very sore. So that's, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how I'm feeling in the morning, but got a pull day tomorrow. I think it's probably going to be the same. Let me look at this. Yeah, it's going to be the same pull day we did last time, except, of course, I'll be adding reps to get lower in that RIR, to get closer to failure. And then I don't think, and the deficit flexion rows, instead of adding reps, because we're already doing 18, 15 plus reps, I'll add some load to that one. But looking forward to it, guys. Feeling pretty ready to cut. I'm not very hungry anymore like I was. Whenever you get out of a cut and start massing again, the hunger drive is huge. So, but I've been bulking for like 4 months now. Hunger's starting to go down. I'm feeling pudgier than I like to be, so I'm ready to cut. So, get ready for shreddy spaghetti, guys. It's coming, and it's a good dish. So I'm going to head out, and I hope y'all have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow.